For electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
We are coming to you from Ballpark Village, Cardinals Nation. That's where we'll be for the next 2 hours as we get ready for Cardinal baseball. Our pregame at 12:20 with Joe Pott, 1:15 first pitch for Steven Matz. Sports on a Sunday morning coming to you on location. This restaurant is just about to open, and when it does, Cardinals and Cubs fans will pack in here like they've had big crowds for the last several days. Unfortunately, the Cardinals have lost all three, and the Cubs have won 8 in a row. The Cubs are in contention here in the National League Central. They are now buyers at the deadline. Got to be. I have to say, Drew Young is our producer. He would back me up on this, but I did say that in the National League Central, the team to watch coming out of the All-Star break is the Cubs. And the reason that I said that was they have something that the Reds don't have, that the Brewers kind of have, and that the Cardinals certainly have not had all season. And you know exactly what that is, starting pitching. Yesterday, they didn't need a starter, honestly. They started out with kind of a bullpen game, and they ended up winning this game 5-1. On the other side, Adam Wainwright got beat again, and he now, over his last 5 starts, has an ERA of 10.89. I mean, it's been a really tough go for the legendary Cardinal. On the other side, yesterday they had a strong start. I should take that back. It was the game before where they didn't need the strong start, but yesterday they did get 6 innings out of Tyone. It was the day before that, on Friday, that the Cubs won 3-2, and you know they ended up with their first pitcher, Wisniewski, going 2 innings, and then Smiley came in and went 4 1/3, and ended up pitching pretty well. Gave up a run on 2 hits in 4 1/3, and struck out 6 with 1 walk. Yesterday it was, and that was the game that it just. I mean, Mike Tauchman jumps over the wall like Superman and robs Alec Burleson of a home run. And then yesterday we wait an hour and 47 minutes, and they come out, the Cubs do, and beat the Cardinals 5-1. Cardinals scored the first run of the game and never could score after that. Tyone, to his credit, pitched well. He went 6 innings, a run on 2 hits. He did walk 4, struck out 4. The Cardinals just not able to deliver with the big hit, not able to deliver on the mound, not able to deliver. I mean, it's been a theme of the season so far, and the Cardinals are sitting there in last place now in the NL Central at 11.5 back, 46-60 overall. The Cubs, meanwhile, are 3.5 out of the division. 3.5. I mean, they've won 8 in a row. They have a run differential plus 60 this season. It's a good club, not a great club, good club. And they're playing with a lot of enthusiasm. They're backed by a strong pitching staff, and here they go again. They're going to have Kyle Hendricks pitching today, who's been tough on the Cardinals historically. Steven Matz on the other side for St. Louis, who actually has pitched well over his last few starts since coming out of the All-Star break. He's pitched pretty well, and the Cardinals are going to need every last bit of it today. But we all know where this is going. This is all about the Cardinals trying to finish strong, trying to evaluate what they have for 2024, and most importantly, for the next 48 hours. The trade deadline is Tuesday at 5 o'clock Central. I'm just going to say this right out of the gate because I said what I said on the air for weeks and weeks. The Cardinals are not going to trade Nolan Arenado. Yet there we were over the last few days, headlines coming out of Los Angeles that the Cardinals are in talks with Arenado. And I'm sitting there like, well, I know I'm right? I mean, and Arenado's sitting there. I mean, I can't speak for Arenado, but we heard what he said publicly, that he hadn't heard from the Cardinals, that it's all, my daughter is texting me. She's on vacation with the grandparents. She's texting my 12-year-old. Are the Cardinals trading Arenado? I get people texting me, all people running into me. Are the Cardinals trading Arenado? And I'm like, no, but it's still hanging out there. And then last night, John Mozeliak shuts it down with a written statement. Derek Gould was the first to put it out there that they're not trading him and that they did not ask him to waive the no trade clause. We're going to talk to Mo at 11:30. We'll ask him about what went down there, what that was all about, and a few other things leading up to this trade deadline at 5 o'clock Central. The Cardinals have some work to do. They have pitchers to acquire. They're not going to do it all at once. It's not going to happen all in these next 48 hours, the pitching staff for 2024. Here you go. I mean, it is going to take a couple of steps here. This probably the offseason trade market, and quite honestly, the offseason free agent market, because the Cardinals will have some money off the books that they can go out and sign some people. They are getting rid of, assuming we're saying goodbye here to Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery, two really good starters. But Montgomery's got to go out and test the market. Scott Boras is his agent. The Cardinals didn't work out a deal with him in the offseason. He's going to go out and do what he's supposed to do, go test the free agent market, and he's going to get paid and paid accordingly. Flaherty's interesting. I don't know that he gets paid Montgomery money because of his injury history, but he's awfully good. And I wonder, out of Flaherty, Hicks, if either of them, the Cardinals would entertain re-signing them in the offseason, because I think you get good value out of Hicks too. I think he's going to get traded because he's a free agent at the end of the year. Somebody should sign him or should bring him in to bolster their contender with a great bullpen arm who can throw 103 with movement. But then again, why wouldn't the Cardinals want Jordan Hicks on their team? 103 with movement, young, not exactly elite closer money just yet, although he can be. He's not a starter, so he doesn't make the big starter contract. Do you think that the Cardinals maybe could work out something with Hicks in the future? Maybe. But really, it comes down to the players that are likely to get traded on Tuesday: Flaherty, Montgomery, Hicks. Then you have Chris Stratton, whose contract expires. And then you have Paul DeJong, who, if they don't exercise the option, I would anticipate that they won't, that he becomes a free agent as well. And so those all become pretty nice trade candidates for somebody. Hicks and Stratton can help someone's bullpen. Flaherty and Montgomery certainly can bolster a rotation. And then for DeJong, a middle infielder with pop who could help you out a little bit off the bench or maybe fill a spot for you here and there, certainly could be attractive. And the Cardinals may have more than that. I mean, Mozeliak's not going to say it, but I'll say my 6 untouchables, and then you can kind of take it from there. And I've said it on the air over and over and over again. Goldschmidt, Arenado, Walker, Wynn, Gorman, Nootbaar. And not necessarily in that order. I'm just putting out the 6. Those are the 6. So we are going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. I'm in touch with Ollie Marmol right now. We may not get him right at 10:15. It may be a little bit longer than that, but I do look forward to that conversation without a doubt. That's the Cardinals manager. He is with us. I don't look forward to talking about any of this stuff. None of this is fun. The Cardinals losing, the Cardinals trading players, etc. But I'm going to take a quick break and come back with a little more info about what we have coming up on Sports on a Sunday Morning, including USA Today baseball columnist Bob Nightingale. He's agreed to join the show as well. He's going to be on today. And John Mozeliak at 11:30. It's all next. Don't go anywhere. Sports on a Sunday Morning from Ballpark Village, sponsored by Gray Bar.
Cardinals baseball is in full swing.
Right center field, a grand slam for Nolan Gorman.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
And it's a gunner! An opposite field home run for Wilson Contreras.
Cardinals baseball. Cardinals announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
Scott, they're here. Who's here? Our newest delivery: carpet tile, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tiles, sheet vinyl, ceramic, hardwood, and laminate.
Of course, and we're fully stocked at both of our locations, 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week.
Free financing for qualified purchasers. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. At Onder Law, we know you have questions after an injury. Do I need a lawyer? What's my case worth? How long will it take? At Onder Law, our intake team will listen to your situation and get you to the right attorney. So when you have questions about a car crash, a work-related injury, or a life-changing accident, Onder Law has the team that's right for you.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. Sports on a Sunday morning coming to you from Ballpark Village. We're inside Cardinals Nation, and the big surprise is that Ollie Marmol has joined us in person. It's great to have you in our spot here inside the restaurant.
Good to see you, Tom.
Can I get you something to eat, a little something to drink, maybe something like that?
No, I'm all right.
All right. Well, it's good to have you. I know, as I said on the air, none of this is fun to talk about, losing and trade deadline stuff. The first time this team has been looking to trade players that could have helped them down the stretch and all that. But let me first just give you sort of the lay of the land here. So this is our studio here, Ballpark Village. We broadcast here pregame and sometimes postgame, mostly pregames here for the fans. We also have the studio downstairs that you've been in inside Busch Stadium. And then above us is Bally Sports Midwest. Okay. Their studio is right up here. But yeah, this is, this building will soon be swarming with fans, and you notice them. I mean, this place has been packed. A lot of Cubs fans too, but the place is packed. The fans love your team, and I'm sure you share with them the disappointment that you haven't been able to deliver.
No doubt about that. I mean, you set out every spring training to make sure that you're competitive and that you're making a playoff run, and the goal is always to win a World Series. We're coming up short, and we've dug ourselves a hole that puts us in a position this year where it's tough, and we're looking at the trade deadline much different than any other year. So is there disappointment? Absolutely. Do I feel responsible? Absolutely. You wake up every morning trying to figure out how to change this, how to turn it around. But quite honestly, we've dug ourselves a pretty big hole.
Yeah. I mean, how do you see why this has happened? And there are many layers to it. Let's start with pitching and what we've seen there.
Yeah. It just hasn't been good enough, and that's just the reality. I think it's been better as of late, but if you look at the first part of the year, it was very difficult to string together wins with the way the rotation looked and the way that we were performing out of the pen. I think our offense has done a pretty decent job throughout. There's some stretches there where it was tough to score runs, but for the most part, they've been a pretty high-end offense. They score runs. There's different ways of them beating you. We don't have to rely on the homer, although we hit them. But from a pitching standpoint, when you lose that many games after the seventh inning, when you have a lead after the seventh and you lose that many games, that's tough, and that's been reoccurring.
It has, and it doesn't make it any easier. I know that anybody that you lose to wouldn't be good, but with that the Cubs are doing their thing and starting to make a little run here certainly turns the fans off, as you can imagine. What have you seen in them? I mean, they have a team that's now won 8 in a row.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job, and they pitch well. They have different ways of scoring, but for the most part, they have a rotation that's done a really nice job for them. It gives them a shot every day. We've had our trouble against some of their starters. Steele's done a really nice job. Yesterday was tough against us. We saw Stroman pretty well when we saw him at their place, but outside of that, they've done a pretty nice job.
What do you make of Adam Wainwright yesterday, and kind of Adam Wainwright just since he came back from the injured list?
This is the best he's felt, and his back feels good, his shoulder feels good, and there's a little bit of an uptick in the velo. You can see that he's throwing from a different slot, and it's free and easy, and his pitches have more finish to them than they have in the past. And yesterday was a really good example of what he does well. He was on the ground quite a bit. He got out of some innings with a double play, and that's what it needed to look like. But for him to give us 6 with 85, 87 pitches yesterday was exactly what was needed.
So you think that he certainly can make more starts for you?
Yeah, I do. That looks a lot better. And as long as he's healthy, he'll continue to make those starts.
And then you have Steven Matz, who's ready to go for this start today. He's been better.
He's been a lot better. And the biggest thing for him is just intent. He's not, pedal down. He's not just easing his way through the first inning. And when something goes wrong in the past, it's kind of snowballed on him. And what we're seeing now is just, pedals down. He's going hard. The intent's there. There's a little bit of an edge to him because what he has from a pitch standpoint is definitely enough.
It is certainly. And then Miles Michaelis is also pitching for you. And last we saw, he threw 14 pitches. And the last one was against Ian Happ. It hit him in the hip on the backside. And he got tossed from the game, which honestly surprised me. And I've seen a lot of this stuff, and so have you. But the first one was up and in. Why not call the warning there? And then at that point, doesn't all that stuff just end?
It would have ended, yes. And I had an opportunity to sit with the umpires and have a discussion with them the day after. And it was tough for them to call the warning after the first one. It just seemed like a regular pitch that just kind of left his hand up and in, and they didn't think anything of it. I thought if there was intent, like they said, behind the first one initially, that, hey, just call a warning and then end all of it. But that's not what happened, unfortunately. He gets tossed, I get tossed. He gets a 5-game suspension, I get 1, and I served mine, and we'll keep moving. It's just part of it, but definitely unfortunate because it set us up where our pen had to eat that up, and it was hurting yesterday as well.
Yeah, yours is mandated, right? You have to be suspended.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And then, but I thought the ejection was worse because not that it's an automatic L, but it puts you in a pretty bad spot.
It puts you in a bad spot opening up the series there, especially with a guy that tends to give you innings and eat up 6 innings for you. So to go to the pen that early, it is definitely a disadvantage, yes.
And just so people, in case they didn't follow this, what happened leading up to it, Contreras was whacked in the head by an Ian Happ backswing that didn't look like he intended to do it, but it's a big, long swing that he always has. I saw it yesterday when he hit the home run.
Yeah, that's how he finishes his swing. And Contreras has a tendency to kind of creep up closer than most catchers, so it was just the way it all worked out. It got him pretty good. Wilson wanted to stay in the game. There's blood coming out pretty good, and he's just say, patch me up, let me stay in this thing. But he had to come out. He's obviously feeling a lot better. He was able to play yesterday. He'll have today off, but he's in a good spot.
And then, of course, there's the Tauchman catch. Tauchman goes Superman on Burleson, and yesterday Carlson almost got them back.
Yeah, he almost did, but that was a really nice play. If you look at that game that we lost, it was a well-played game, both sides. Really good defense on both sides. They did a really nice job of turning some double plays. That catch at the end of the game obviously was a big catch. Our guys did a really nice job on the other side of the ball. Nice double play on the bunt. So it was a well-played game. We came up short, but yeah.
Ollie Marmol's popped into the restaurant here at Cardinals Nation, Ballpark Village. We get to spend a little more time with him. We really appreciate it. I'm going to get a couple of waters for us, actually. Do you mind, Tim? Tim's our man. He's here with us, Tim Wells and his great crew, as I appreciate it very much. I look at the Arenado thing, and again, I said this in the beginning. I was one who said Arenado's not going anywhere. So people can, in New York, L.A., everybody can write whatever they want. Nolan Arenado staying. Then not that I doubted myself, but it kind of hung out there for so long. I wondered what is going on. I'm going to ask John Mozeliak about that part of it later in the show, but I wanted to ask you kind of how you took all of that and how Nolan did without him being here. But what did you think about your third baseman?
Yeah, I've had several conversations with Nolan throughout this process, and you can't say that we're setting ourselves up to win next year and Nolan not be in the picture. This is a really big pillar of success for us, and having him and Goldie and putting the right pieces around those guys in order to win next year. So, no, the discussions and the communication with him have been really good for my part. I've enjoyed that with Nolan, going through this process with him. At the end of the day, he's a winner, and he's here to do exactly that. He wants to do that here. He's made that super clear, and we look forward to doing that together.
He really likes it here, not only in your clubhouse, but he likes being. St. Louis is a good fit for him. He's not a big going out guy. Look at me. He wants to play ball.
All he cares about is his family and winning. That's truly all he cares about. So this is a perfect city for him. This is a city that loves winning, and he wants to do it here. He wants to win a World Series here in St. Louis.
Speaking of the front office, obviously you can't reveal everything that's talked about there, but just your overall feelings of what they're trying to do here.
To put it super simple, nobody wants to go through this again, and we know part of the reasons why we've gotten to this point, and we're not wanting to repeat it, and they're wanting to make moves to make sure. And yesterday coming out and saying Nolan's not going anywhere is part of that. We're looking to win immediately, and so the communication with the front office has been really good, and they're working hard to make sure that happens.
You have some young players that certainly figure to be part of what you're doing here. Jordan Walker, if you could talk about the growth of your player there. We know what we see at the plate, but defensively as well.
Yeah, I love Jordan Walker. His mentality, he's so committed to getting better every day, and this is going to be a process. We have to continue to remind ourselves how young Jordan is, and how hard this game is at this level, and he's figuring it out, and he's getting better every day. He's starting to slow the game down offensively. Sure, there's still going to be at-bats that are really tough on him and certain matchups that are really tough on him. Defensively, the game is still a little quick, but he's working at it, man. I mean, he's out there every single day with Willie McGee, getting after it, working on balls against the wall, coming in on balls, getting behind. Everything that's needed. It's not a lack of effort. This guy's putting in the work, and he's going to continue to get better. It's going to take time, but this is a guy that's a high aptitude, loves the game, wants to get better, and it'll happen.
I would be very, very, very surprised if Lars Nootbaar was not running around in the Cardinals outfield next year. He is a tremendous talent, and a lot of people always ask me why, and the evidence is right there. He hits the ball hard, and he gets on base, and, of course, we see what he can do out there in the field.
It's a really good combination when you are stubborn about not leaving the zone, you have good plate discipline, and you hit the ball hard, because he'll take his walks. He doesn't give in. But if it's in the zone, he hits it hard and hits it a long way. So that combination of what Lars brings to the table, it's a good one.
Another one who hits the ball hard, who figures to be a great one for a long time, is Nolan Gorman. What is special about him as a hitter?
The thing that impresses me the most about him is his personality. It's a trait that's hard to teach. He cares immensely. This guy really, really cares about having success, helping the team. He's not a me guy. But at the same time, he has this nonchalant attitude where if things don't go his way, he doesn't care. He's not going to sit there and mull over it and let it beat him up. Like he's on to the next. And he can have 3 tough at-bats, and he sits in the dugout, and you can't tell if he's 0 for 3 or if he's 3 for 3. And that's a really, really good trait to have, especially at his age.
One more that I wanted to ask about, we haven't seen up here yet, but we saw a whole bunch of them, and a lot of that was because of the WBC. Mason Wynn. If you can go back and think about what you saw from Mason Wynn and what could be coming here at some point.
One of the most impressive springs I've seen. From a skill set standpoint and mentality standpoint, this is a guy that has some fire to him. He wants to win. He's got some energy. He's got that edge, and whenever he gets up here, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a very, very exciting day, because this is a real skill set. Yes, this kid could play.
He is really something. When you see Ellie De La Cruz doing what he did in Cincinnati, the energy, I just think, wait till this crowd sees Mason Wynn. He is something special. All right, last thing. So, and this will be a question that I'll probably ask you when we do our end of the season review and all that stuff. What have you learned in year 2 in your position?
Man, it's been tough. It really has. And you really need to lead well when things aren't going the way you planned. For the way things are going, in order to keep that clubhouse intact and people not pointing fingers, but truly staying together and committed to one another and trusting one another, even during this time, the trade deadline. This is something that clubhouse has never gone through, and no one has really experienced. And for that clubhouse to be the way it is, and them committed and still playing the game hard every single day and not letting anything be a distraction, a lot of credit to the leadership in that clubhouse, our staff, and the way people have carried themselves. But when things aren't going well, that's when you really have to lead well and be intentional with your communication and everything that goes into the day. Because when we're winning and things are easy and everyone's happy, that's simple. Anybody can do that. But yeah, this is a time where you have to lead well and embrace it.
Well, best of luck to you today. You got a 1:15 start against the Cubs, so we'll have you head back into the ballpark. It was cool to have you walk over here. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Manager of the Cardinals is Oliver Marmol with us live here at Cardinals Nation Restaurant. We will take a quick timeout, and we'll come back with more. Bob Nightingale of USA Today is going to join us in this hour. John Mozeliak is going to be with us next hour. We're here until noon. Joe Pott takes over Cardinals pregame at 12:20 on KMOX.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
I don't want to wait.
You never want to wait.
Not when I'm sticking to the couch.
Well, those guys can install a new AC for days. Evidently, no one can.
Jerry Kelly can install a new AC tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, even if we call it 8 tonight.
Wow, that's fast.
They're fast and they're good.
Mathematically, that actually equals got it going on.
Tomorrow, I love ya.
JerryKelly.com. You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money. At the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Imagine walking into your house on a scorching hot day and the AC isn't working. Who are you going to call? More importantly, who can you trust? Hi, this is John Hancock from my friends at Smart House Heating and Cooling. Smart House has been awarded the coveted Torch Award from the Better Business Bureau, the absolute highest rating for integrity and customer satisfaction. Check them out online at callsmarthouse.com. The best service, the best value, and the best products, like the Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split. Smart House Heating and Cooling. They'll always do the right thing for you.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, that was a nice treat. The manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol, coming over to the restaurant and visiting with us. And I'm sure that if he was in the building, he would walk right in here, too, and sit down with us. And that's Bob Nightingale of USA Today, who joins us on the phone on KMOX Sports on a Sunday morning. How are you, Bob?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks, Tom.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ollie says hi, by the way. I told him that you were coming up next. So he walked over across the street here and did the show with us for a little while. It was nice of the manager.
That's awesome. Yeah, great guy. Awesome.
Yeah, he is good. What do you think of the job that he's done this year? I mean, honestly, he's a division champion last year, and this year it has really gone south for the Cardinals. If you're pointing fingers, I guess you could point all over the place with this organization right now.
Yeah, but you can't point it at him. I think a big key for a manager is does a team play hard? Are you going to get the most out of it? The players, the teams play hard. I mean, obviously they've been on the race for a while, but they're still, doing comebacks and playing hard. Still playing the game right, and obviously not well, but right. So no, I think he's done a fine job.
He's doing, as you mentioned at the end, he's doing something that he has learned, which is how to keep a clubhouse together when things aren't going well. We could point out all the bullpen decisions and things like that, but we did the same for Mike Schilt, for Mike Matheny, and maybe people have a short memory, but Tony La Russa got roasted in this town for moves that he made for years and years until he won championships in 06 and 11, Bob.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you go to every town in America, and every fan is ripping the manager for managerial moves. It doesn't matter who you are. And you're right. I mean, Bruce was a master at his bullpen. Bruce Bochy now is a master at his bullpen. Guys get criticized constantly. It's just the way the game is.
Bob, John Mozeliak is getting criticized. Everyone's well aware of that. The president of baseball operations, who will be with us in about an hour to talk about the latest. I'm going to ask him about Nolan Arenado and what went on there. What is your understanding as to why that was sitting out there in the news for a while?
Just that the Dodgers have reached out and said, hey, we're interested in talking about Arenado. You got to listen. Remember when Kevin Towers had, Tony Gwynn and Trevor Hoffman with the Padres? He says, I'll listen to Gwynn, I'll listen to Hoffman. That's what you're supposed to do. If someone offers you a great package, you're going to listen to it. Hey, Arenado's from L.A. He knows Arenado, would have waived his no-trade clause to go there. So it wasn't like, you're doing a disservice to Arenado by any means. But if the Dodgers are going to say, hey, we'll give you 3 of our top 5 pitching prospects, and they're absolutely loaded, you would have to listen and say, you know what, I can build this team up right away rather than having to go to, free agency and make moves because, they need so many pitchers. They need so much pitching help, and the Dodgers have it.
And Mozeliak reached out to a few people putting some written statements out there, and Derek Gould was the first one to post it. I do believe that he said, we're not trading him. I mean, I didn't ask him to waive his no trade clause, but as you said, things can certainly happen out there. You take a phone call, and that is going to be reported as talks. I mean, it does happen. So I'm going to assume now that Arenado is going to be a Cardinal. What do you think about Paul Goldschmidt from that standpoint? I don't see them trading him. Do you?
No chance. And they'll build a statue first of him before that. So no, I think at some point I'm sure they'll enter talks about extending him. So no, I think Paul Goldschmidt finishes his career in St. Louis, and I think the same now with Arenado as well. Obviously, he's got more years as deal, but you got like Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, particularly Goldschmidt's everything you want out of a Cardinal, not just being a great player, but great person, what he means to the community. And people are heartbroken in Arizona that they traded him. And, you look in Cardinal history, outside the Lou Brock trade, that Goldschmidt trade might be the greatest trade in Cardinal history outside Lou Brock.
Yeah, that and the Arenado trade, both great trades by John Mozeliak in a career that gets criticized for some of his trades and free agent signings. Those were 2 really good ones. Bob Nightingale's with us from USA Today. First and third are taken care of for next year and beyond. I do wonder about the middle infield, and will we see a middle infield next year of Nolan Gorman and Mason Wynn, 2 very explosive players potentially, or will the Cardinals opt to have a little more experience in those positions moving forward, that which they do have? So I wonder there.
Yeah, at least a open canvas there, and there's not a whole lot of free agency. You're not getting a lot of help that way by any means. So yeah, I think you go into spring training and say, okay, may the best man win, and go that route. I mean, they've been on the record saying they want to contend next year. This isn't like the New York Mets who are giving up in 2024 too. The Cardinals want to, bounce right back. And obviously you're in the division to do so because the division's, the weakest win in the National League.
And then you have the outfield, in which I don't think Jordan Walker's going anywhere, and the same with Lars Nootbaar, which leaves the question, who else would start in the outfield? I kind of go back and forth on Tyler O'Neill because I do see the potential when he's on, and I've always liked Dylan Carlson, and so have the Cardinals. So that's an interesting situation.
Yeah, I know Carlson's available. I would not trade Carlson, but I know he's available. People love him, and what is he? 24 years old. Good outfield, everything else. I like him a lot. I would trade O'Neill. I don't think they will. I would certainly listen to offers in the off season, see if somebody bites. But just with all the injuries, just so erratic. You want consistency. I don't care how good you are. The big thing is, posting every day. You look at the Great Atlanta teams, this past 5-6 years, those guys play every day. And that infield, I think, last year, every single one of them played at least 155 games. And that's what you want. It doesn't matter what your potential is or how many home runs you're going to hit. You bet, go play 150 games. We don't want you playing 100 games. What use is that?
Well, you're right. I mean, the consistency is really important, and behind the plate, they have Wilson Contreras with a pretty good prospect in Ivan Herrera waiting in the wings, and Andrew Kisner. How do you see the Cardinals catching situation post Yadier Molina?
Well, I mean, obviously a lot of work to be done with Contreras. Where now you're going to have pretty much a whole new pitching staff to work with, and you're going to have to start studying tape, start talking to the pitchers early. So it behooves the Cardinals to find that pitching early so they can develop a relationship with Contreras. Obviously he's got some flaws defensively, but still, the Cubs are able to win with him, win a World Series with him. So, he's got a high contract, so, it doesn't have trade value. But yeah, just hope that, okay, first year is rough. And the first year a lot of times is rough on every free agent. I don't care who you are. It's just an adjustment period. So I would think you'd settle down here in year two.
Bob Nightingale, who does such a good job covering the trade deadline for USA Today, is with us on KMOX. We're sitting here at Ballpark Village. Bob, that brings us to pitching, and we know who's under contract and who isn't. I mean, Flaherty, Montgomery, Stratton, Hicks, all due to be free agents. If the Cardinals are to deal from that group, what do they get in return, do you think? What are they trying to do here in terms of their staff, knowing that it's not all going to be solved in one day?
No, and Montgomery's got the most value. People love Montgomery. He consistent. He pitched in the AL East. I think they get a nice little haul for him. Flaherty's more of a crapshoot as far as can he have some big games. Obviously, a lot more erratic than the line guys on that staff. Hicks, people love just a power arm. They know he walks too many people. But they love having this guy in late situations. So I know a team like Texas was really following the Cardinals around here, both guys, Montgomery and Hicks. But they love to get their hands on Hicks.
Hicks, and here being Arizona, right? Are you still down there?
Still am. And but yeah, I mean the scouts follow the Giants everywhere. Follow the Cardinals everywhere, from my, San Francisco back to Phoenix, back to St. Louis. So a lot of eyes are on the Cardinals. And the Cardinals probably have, more trade chips than any team out there.
Yeah, they have another flamethrower in Ryan Helsley. He's getting some attention, isn't he?
Yeah, just with the injury factor and things like that, you worry about. At least you have more control with him. But particularly Hicks, just someone that as hard as he is, and having success where Helsley had some mixed results early on, plus the injuries, I think people are a little more skeptical.
And whether it's DeYoung or Carlson or O'Neill, maybe, although I think you and I are in agreement that they may keep him here for a while. What is a haul, do you think, for those players? I mean, what should Cardinals fans expect? A mixture of prospects and major league ready pitchers who are controllable, or is it more prospects?
More prospects, because the team that trades for those guys, they're in the race, so you don't want to subtract from your own team and go for it. You need to keep adding on. So you can ask for prospects that are close, that will maybe be ready the second half of 2024, if not 2025. So kids at least in Double-A and not low Class A or something like that. So I would think a guy like Montgomery, you get a top 10 prospect for in a maybe two of the teams top 15, that sort of thing. But I think he brings back the most. Too many teams need him and want him.
And finally, Bob, and I really appreciate this, what about the Scherzer deal and what happened there with the St. Louis native? How did that go down? What are the Mets getting back? And do you foresee any other action from the Mets or Padres for that matter?
Well, this Ronald Acuna's brother turns out to be better than Acuna himself. Is absolute fleeced by the Rangers. I mean, and they got the Mets to pay $36.5 million of Scherzer's contract for just their third best prospect. I thought it was a great deal by the Rangers, and I'm sure now teams are lining up to try to get their hands on Verlander. If they're going to eat that kind of money and give a player away of that stature for just one prospect, I think the Houston Astros and the Dodgers are all over the Mets trying to get their hands on Verlander.
And the Padres and the Mets and the Cardinals would all be in that category of disappointing teams in the National League for sure. Are the Padres getting busy and in the market? And when you answer that, does any of that help or hurt the Cardinals' efforts?
Well, if the Padres stay pat, it certainly helps the Cardinals just because there's not much trade inventory out there. So I think the Padres are a little delusional. I think they can get in this race. They just beat up on the Rangers 2 straight. I think if they sweep the Rangers today, then I think they're going to hang on to both guys, Blake Snell and Josh Hader. So no, it really behooved the Cardinals for the Padres to stay pat. And disappointing teams. I know Cardinal fans are disappointed in their team, but it's nothing like what's going on in San Diego, New York. I mean, here's New York had the biggest payroll in baseball history. And I think the Padres, with all their star power, I think if they miss the playoffs, I think they go down as the most underachieving team in baseball history. I really do.
I got to agree with you. I mean, all I heard was that the Padres were going to be the superpower. Just look at the lineup and then everything that happens. I really appreciate this, Bob. We should read you in USA Today. I'd ask you what you're working on, but I know what you're working on, the trade deadline, just as you have been for years and years. In fact, yesterday was the anniversary of the Phillies trading Scott Rowland to the Cardinals in exchange for Placido Polanco, Bud Smith, and Mike Timlin. And I texted Bernie Miklasz, and I said, do you remember when you, me, and Bob Nightingale were all on the air together? Basically, I don't know if we were first with it, but pretty close to that breaking news that Rowland was coming. And Bernie and I were at Rams training camp. I mean, that's how obsessed we were with trying to get that on the air. So you've been doing some stuff with us for a long time.
Yeah, fun day. And it was fun, seeing the Cardinal people and, of course, Scott Rowland at Cooperstown. I think, I've been going to the induction ceremony for about, 12, 13, 14 straight years now. I think it's the best speech I ever heard. I think Rowland's speech was just magnificent.
Yeah, sure was. Really was. What a great Cardinal. Bob, we appreciate you very much. Thank you for all of this. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you, Tom.
Bob Nightingale, USA Today. He is on top of it. Make sure that you pay attention to him between now and the 5 o'clock Central deadline. We certainly will. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come back with more Sports on a Sunday Morning, sponsored by Gray Bar. We are coming to you live from Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Back after this.
Hey, guys. Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Carol Daniels for Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I often stand on our deck in the morning and just look at the backyard, and our beautiful bronze aluminum fence frames our backyard beautifully. I love great customer service, and my husband, he respects the work of trained craftsmen. So whether your vision is for a beautiful cedar deck, a pergola, a retaining wall, or a custom sunroom, get ready for excellent customer service and expert installation. That was our experience from start to finish when the trained craftsmen from Chesterfield Fence and Deck built our bronze aluminum fence. It frames our backyard beautifully and really sets off my husband's landscaping as well. You're going to get the same thing, my friends, plus a free in-home estimate and a free project design at no cost. Go online to chesterfieldfence.com or call 636-532-4054. Call in the month of July, mention my name, Carol Daniel, and get 20% off your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
When you hear Diamonds Direct, it's not just a catchy name designed to give the illusion of value. Our name is who we really are. Diamonds Direct was started by diamond cutters a quarter of a century ago. At our very core is a commitment to cut out the middleman and deliver extreme value in exquisite diamonds. Today, that's more true than ever with our direct access to diamonds straight from the mines. Diamonds that we then cut and polish. Exquisite diamonds up to 15 and 20 carats in all shapes and sizes. It's an advantage other jewelers only dream of. By overseeing the entire process, we know for a fact Diamonds Direct is truly direct. So this year, as value becomes more important than ever, rest assured that Diamonds Direct's unique status in the world diamond market guarantees you the best no middleman direct importer price, period. And even with this extreme value promise, at Diamonds Direct, you still get an unbeatable selection, transparent education, a luxurious shopping experience, superior customer service, no compromises. It's not having a cool name or clever advertising, it's the truth. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our mission is to help improve the air quality of your home. From whole house air cleaning systems to UV sterilization systems, our trained comfort specialists can take care of it all. Just call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com and breathe easy. We're
always on time, or you don't pay it time.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed in their respective state or county.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. After an injury, you need someone you can trust to explain and carry you through. At Underlaw, we know what it's like to face tough times. We know how hard it can be to see a light at the end of the tunnel, especially when you're hurt, struggling to make ends meet, and overwhelmed by our legal system. We're not only on your side, we're by your side.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
I want to relay a fun little story that happened with Ollie Marmol. How old's Teddy? How old are you, Teddy? How old are you? 8? 9? He said, Ollie was leaving here, and he said, if you would have traded Nolan Arenado, I would have moved to the city where he went. And Ollie goes, me too. It's good to see Ollie at least making some jokes and laughing in what has been a very, very tough year for the Cardinals and the fans. No doubt about it. The Cardinals are taking on the Cubs today, and here's the lineup that Ollie has written up. We can give it to you now. Lars Nootbaar will lead off and play center field. Paul Goldschmidt will DH today. He's going to bat second. Nolan Gorman is the second baseman, batting third. Nolan Arenado is at third base. He's batting cleanup today. Tyler O'Neill's in left field, batting fifth. Alec Burleson's going to play first base and bat sixth. Jordan Walker is in right field, batting seventh. Andrew Kisner is behind the plate, batting eighth, and Paul DeYoung is the shortstop, batting ninth, with Steven Matz on the hill. Nootbaar, Goldschmidt, Gorman, Arenado, O'Neill, Burleson, Walker, Kisner, and DeYoung. Here's the Cubs lineup that was just released minutes ago as well. Nico Horner is going to lead off and play second base. Seiya Suzuki is the right fielder, batting second. Cody Bellinger's in center field, batting third. Jan Gomes, the DH, bats fourth. Dansby Swanson, the shortstop, bats fifth. Christopher Morel in left field, batting sixth. Trey Mancini at first base, bats seventh. Batting eighth is the catcher, Miguel Amaya. And Nick Madrigal is the third baseman, batting ninth. Horner, Suzuki, Bellinger, Gomes, Swanson, Morel, Mancini, Amaya, and Madrigal with Hendricks, Kyle Hendricks, the pitcher for the Cubs, and he's been very good throughout his career and pretty good against the Cardinals as well. So we'll be watching that closely to see how that all pans out. Coming up next hour, we will have John Mozeliak at 11:30, Cardinals president of baseball operations. We'll get into a little bit more baseball with you. We are scheduled to have Lutz Pfannenstiel, the sporting director for St. Louis City SC, in his usual spot at 11:15. The Cardinals will take on the Cubs at 1:15, and we will have pregame coverage with Joe Pott at 12:20. I'm assuming Joe will be inside the ballpark in the studio, but he's welcome to come over here just as Ollie did, walking right on in and enjoying himself, I think, although none of this is fun to talk about, but it is nice, I think, for him to take a breather, get out, be amongst the fans for a little bit, which he did a little earlier this hour. We also heard from Bob Nightingale, which was very nice, from USA Today. He agreed to come on. We just spent a good 15 minutes with him talking about the trade deadline. So if you want to go back and listen to that, that started at about 10:30 here on KMOX. This rivalry, the Cardinals and the Cubs, goes back to 1892. Game 1 was April 12th, 1892. The Cardinals had just joined the National League as the St. Louis Browns after existing for the previous 10 seasons, the American Association. More than 8,000 fans gathered at Sportsman's Park on April 12th, 1892 to see the Browns face the Chicago Colts, Cap Anson and the Colts. And the Colts beat the Browns 14-10. The Colts had 14 runs, 14 hits, and 8 errors. And the Browns had 10 runs, 10 hits, and 5 errors. It was a 3.5-hour game, a marathon game back in 1892. A little bit of trivia from my pal, Dan Hyatt, who sent that over. We are going to have a lot coming up on Sports on a Sunday morning here on KMOX, including a visit with John Mozeliak on the way at 11:30. Ollie Marmol and Bob Nightingale are in the books. Lutz Pfannenstiel next hour. We'll visit with Joe Pott as well. He's going to be here at Ballpark Village doing his pregame, so we'll chat with him a little bit before and get to know what his pregame looks like. It's Sports on a Sunday morning. Cardinal baseball coming your way today at 1:15 on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan, president of McKelvey Homes. Founded in 1898, McKelvey Homes is celebrating 125 years with our inventory home sale. Get $12,500 off of all our market homes. Move in quick, lock in your interest rate, and get all the popular features and colors selected by design professionals. And for every home sold, McKelvey Homes will donate $1,898 to Dravet Syndrome Foundation. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
The remarkable story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons is one of the top musicals in show business history. Now, experience the real Jersey Boys, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, live and in concert Thursday, August 10th at the Steeple Theater. Now on sale at Ticketmaster.com. From 111 Productions and Danny Zalisco presents.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird specials at $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right. Seminar Saturday, August 5th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Or Sunday, August 6th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Want to be a legendary player? It all begins at Horseshoe St. Louis Casino. Horseshoe offers all the thrills. Join the excitement on the casino floor. Tee off at the Topgolf Swing Suite. Catch the game at the Sports Bar. Or relax at the Four Seasons Spa. An unexpected oasis in the heart of downtown. In a quick walk from the ballpark. Horseshoe St. Louis, a Caesars Rewards destination. Legendary. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
Listen to live Black Ad-free audio from every major league club.
And Aaron Judge with some thump.
Stream video of minor league games.
That's a go-ahead grand slam.
And watch the best baseball highlights and look-ins on MLB Big Inning. The all-new At Bat is your all-in-one live baseball subscription for only $3.99 per month.
There she goes. Home run, Pete Alonso.
Subscribe to At Bat within the MLB app today. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals. KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com. I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington.
Cooler air is on the way.
That's Brian Hurley, a meteorologist at the National Weather Service. He says the number of Americans under a heat advisory is now down to 74 million.
With temperatures closer to normal, in fact, even a bit below normal here in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Temperatures around 80 for highs in New Jersey, New York, southern New England as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday.
The heat of the past few weeks has had an effect on refineries, and that means higher prices at the pump, says Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan.
Extreme heat can cause disruption, and that has resulted in some refineries that have experienced outages, which impacts very quickly the amount of gasoline they're able to produce.
A new CBS News poll finds the majority of Americans aren't happy with President Biden's handling of the economy. CBS News Deputy Director of Surveys, Jennifer DePinto.
This economic discontent isn't good news for President Biden. Most don't think his administration is lowering inflation, and just 34% approve of his handling of the economy. That's as low as it's been, along with his overall job approval rating. That's been hovering in the low 40s and is now down to 40%.
Former President Trump went on the attack against President Biden again last night.
The Biden's colossal scams, money laundering, and criminality make Hillary Clinton look like a very beautiful angel.
University of Virginia political analyst Larry Sabato says Trump doesn't appear to have a filter.
Donald Trump really is the shock jock of American politics. There is almost nothing that he won't say if it serves his purposes at the moment.
Russia is accusing Ukraine of a drone attack on Moscow that for a short time closed one of the city's airports and damaged 2 buildings. Russian government expert Stephen Fish of UC Berkeley says the drone strikes have a larger purpose.
Ukraine has tried to show Russians that it actually can strike within Russia. It's a very small strike, but they are trying to create the impression that Russia could be under attack as well.
The social media platform Threads was hugely popular when Meta launched it a few weeks ago, but more than half of its users have since left the app, says CBS tech contributor Ian Schurer.
The idea that 10% of people basically jumped on in the first week makes a lot of sense, but then data has been showing us that usage has dropped off. That is normal. When something comes out, everyone's like, ooh, let me try the shiny new thing. And then they kind of get tired of it until something new about it comes up. But I think the real question still becomes, is it able to fill that void that Twitter is seemingly walking away from?
Police in Colombia have arrested the son of the country's president after investigations into funds that he allegedly collected during last year's campaign. This is CBS News.
Find great hires fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have mostly sunny skies and 82 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour. Last year, we told you about a neighborhood that installed dozens of cameras to combat crime. Well, it has paid off after those cameras helped catch a child sex predator in St. Louis Hills.
The camera network has grown in St. Louis Hills, and now there's a police officer who works secondary at night and monitors the cameras in real time. The first thing Tom Scheifler did was contact camera owners where the assault happened.
I indicated that it was somebody like this is a suspect in an alleged assault, and we are just looking for any useful video that the police might be able to identify this person.
And Asmani Haji Gul was identified and arrested. He lived on Chippewa, east of Hampton. Police say he confessed to the sexual assault of the 6-year-old and to attempting to kidnap another child earlier in the month.
I think it was very important of information for the police to have and be able to advance their investigation quickly. Credit goes to the police because they did all the necessary work.
Scheifler tells KMOX he's glad the neighborhood cameras were able to play a role in solving this case. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The St. Louis Arson Task Force is investigating a church fire overnight in the Shaw neighborhood. It happened in the 4200 block. There was heavy fire on both the first and second floors. Crews were able to get the flames knocked down quickly, and no injuries were reported. Should there be a maximum age limit for federal office? KMOX political analysts Hancock and Kelly have some thoughts.
With recent public lapses by Senators Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein, some are wondering how old is too old to serve. Democrat Michael Kelly on Total Information AM Sunday.
We're going to likely have 2 presidential candidates who are old, both over the age of 80. It makes no sense to me, but this is what the voters choose, and if people want to change it, folks my age and younger ought to get participating in the process because we could buck the system.
Republican John Hancock also is not a fan of putting a cap on age.
I don't think it will happen. It would take 2/3 of the vote
in the Congress, and who's going to be able to do that? Nobody.
Brad Choate, KMOX News.
It was shut down during the extreme heat, but operators say the Loop trolley is going again. The hours today just started at 11 and they go till 7. Keep in mind, though, the trolley cars are not air conditioned. This afternoon's high around 90 degrees. Overnight, low of 71. Tomorrow, strong thunderstorms are possible in the afternoon. Kind of the same thing for Tuesday and Wednesday, but temperatures will be cooler. Highs 89 on Monday, 81 on Tuesday. Right now, we have 82 in St. Peters, 83 in Florissant, and 82 downtown. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win. Billikens win.
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. We are live at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village, a special edition of Sports on a Sunday morning. So special that Ollie Marmol and I were texting before. And I said, I'm in Cardinals Nation restaurant. He said, oh. And he gave me the indication that he could very well be coming over here. So we took a break and we had the surprise, and he walked right in. Here he was. Ollie doing the show over here at the restaurant for a good 15 minutes was a fun surprise. Then we had Bob Nightingale of USA Today talking trade deadline. Now, let me rephrase that. None of this is fun. And I'm going to say the same thing to John Mozeliak at 11:30, but we're going to ask him questions that need to be answered about where they are right now, what happened with Nolan Arenado, all that stuff that happened over the last 24 hours. But none of this is fun necessarily, but it is the situation that the Cardinals are in. They are, for a while now, I don't know how many times we had to say it, you could sit there and rattle off a win streak of 10 if you wanted. But I'm telling you honestly, in my heart and probably in yours, the Cardinals were going to be one of the 29 teams disappointed at the end of the year. They could have gone on a tear as bad as this division was, and maybe it starts to fall back to you a little bit, and maybe you pull off some of that 2011 magic or 06 where they snuck in at the last moment. That was more of a collapse where they snuck in at the last moment and then took off and won the championship. But more than likely, even if you got into the postseason, it's going to be a quick exit with the staff that they have assembled. And it's just is what it is. So the Cardinals are going to try to make sure that that does not happen again. And this is not going to be an easy task. I mean, they are trading, presumably, Jordan Montgomery and Jack Flaherty, two really good starters that they actually could use for the future. But they're both going to be free agents. And if the Cardinals engaged either of them in talks about an extension, they have not come to fruition. And Montgomery should be testing the market. And it was expected that he would. His agent, Scott Boras, and Montgomery is going to look in the offseason and get paid top dollar for a relatively young, left-handed, strong pitcher. Flaherty has a little more of an injury history and inconsistency to his name, but still somebody who can get you 5, 6, maybe 7 innings and be a solid pitcher for you here down the stretch. He's going to be very attractive to a contender to join their rotation and be a big part of what they do. So we're prepared for that here. But the big question is, how do you replace those two and who else joins? Because there are 3 spots open. It's going to be next year, Michaelis and Matz are the 2 under contract. Wainwright's retiring. And in the minor leagues, nobody has emerged as the next person for 2024. Not even Matthew Liberatore has shown that he can be the guy to just join that rotation. I think the Cardinals have been down this road once already, and I'm pretty sure John Mozeliak's going to echo this, is that they tried to go internal with a replacement for Adam Wainwright, and it did not work. Jake Woodford, Matthew Liberatore, and whoever you're throwing out there, they're not ready for that. So it's time to reload with big, big prospects who are ready to break through next year. You'd love to get a major league pitcher right now, but as Bob Nightingale just told us, that's not realistic because no team who's contending is going to give you somebody that could help them win a pennant. So you're going after prospects here and then hoping. Gordon Graceffo, like him a lot. I mean, he's good, but is he ready to take the next step just yet? It is a process. Zach Thompson, we don't know if he's a starter or a reliever. The Cardinals have used him in both roles this year, both here in St. Louis and in the minors. So there's still a lot to be said about what this pitching depth looks like. It has not gone the direction that they want. And so it's time to rock and roll here in the trade deadline. As disappointing as it is, 15 years of winning and now having to do this for the first time, the Cardinals have to do this, and they have to bear down and get this thing done. And it is not going to be the prettiest sometimes, I think, but it is going to happen. This is going to be a busy trade deadline over the next 2 days. We'll have a special tomorrow night between 6 and 8, and we will have updates throughout the day on KMOX on Tuesday leading up to the 5 o'clock Central deadline. But quite honestly, a deal could happen at any moment. I mean, we're sitting here on Sunday. We just saw Max Scherzer get traded to the Rangers. So that could set off a lot of stuff. We will keep an eye on it. We do have John Mozeliak joining us live at 11:30 to talk more about it. We're going to take a quick break. We're here, Cardinals and Cubs. Hendricks against Mats at 1:15. When we come back, we are expected to be joined by Lutz Pfannenstiel, but because they have some time off here, I just want to prepare you for the fact that we may come back and talk baseball, which I'm not sure will disappoint anybody, but I just want to get you ready just in case he is not able to join us at 11:15, although he's been pretty money in that spot. Mo at 11:30. We'll catch up with Joe Pott before we go and get him see what's on his plate for the network pregame at 12:20, 1:15 first pitch. We're at Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village. It's Sports on a Sunday Morning, sponsored by Gray Bar.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
Hi, Joe Buck for New Space. Is your garage the most cluttered space in your home? The garage organizational experts at New Space can transform a messy garage into a beautifully organized space. Bring new life to an old garage. Go to newspace.com to get started. That's newspace.com.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jewels on Hampton.
Different real estate agents will sell your home for different amounts of money. This is Debbie Monterey. Don't be fooled into thinking that all realtors are created equally, because they are not. Different realtors will get you different results. So the agent you choose to sell your home matters. The experience your agent has, the marketing, the database of buyers, the systems and capabilities of your realtor, they all matter. Why? Because how much you sell your home for matters to you. That's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. According to MLS statistics, Gloria sells her listings for more money than the average agent, and she does it with less hassle. With 20 plus years of experience, our local real estate expert, Gloria Liu, knows how to get you the most money for your home guaranteed. Gloria also offers her sellers multiple selling options. So call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. When you use the rideshare service, you're putting your life in the hands of a stranger to get you safely where you need to go. But sometimes tragedies occur. And when they do, big companies like Uber and Lyft are often impossible to deal with on your own. We know how to hold these companies accountable. When you've been involved in a car crash or been a victim of assault, we're here to protect you.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Renner, forward and back. Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. Excited to share with you about Renner Garage Door. Spells the same thing forward and backward. Renner. Formerly the St. Louis Door Company, Renner's been selling, servicing, and installing garage doors in St. Louis since 1966. So if you need to repair or replace your garage door or opener, Renner does that. So call Renner or check out their special deals at RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
For a limited time, First Community is offering an 18-month certificate of deposit that pays 4.75% annual percentage yield and a 12-month certificate that pays 4.25% annual percentage yield. Unlike some high-risk investments, CDs are fully insured to keep your savings safe, and the return on your investment is guaranteed. Requires a $500 minimum deposit to open. Call 1-800-767-8880 for terms and conditions. Federally insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. It is 11:16. Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX is indeed sponsored by Gray Bar. We are the home of the Cardinals. We're the home of the Billikens, and we are the home of St. Louis City SC on Y98 FM, and we carry their games. And in the most recent halftime, we had a terrific interview about a terrific event that is coming to City Park, and here is Brian McBride.
We've already had a rivalry week in the MLS, but there is another rivalry coming our way Saturday, September 2nd, right here in St. Louis at City Park. It's a historic one in NCAA Division I men's soccer, where the SLU Billikens and the SIUE Cougars will meet to compete for the Bronze Boot. Here to talk about it is a very special guest, Brian McBride. Brian, thanks for your time.
Pleasure, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Brian, so many bullets about your time on the pitch as one of the most decorated players in U.S. soccer history. Just to name a few, 95 caps as a striker for the U.S. men's national team, playing in 3 World Cups and later their general manager, professional experience in the MLS, EPL, and in the words of Mr. Soccer, Bill McDermott himself, still the ultimate forward for the USA. Nobody better.
Well, that's really nice. I appreciate the intro, and Bill always built me up to everybody. But, Bill's been so good to everybody, and especially in St. Louis, but even outside of St. Louis, everybody knows Bill and his knowledge and just his overall joy of talking soccer, whether it's stories or it's presenting. He's one of the best.
Well, I know you played as a Billiken in the early 90s for the Bronze Boot, a competition dating back to 1969. Tell me, what's the big deal about the Bronze Boot?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Coming from Chicago, I was already a little bit of an outsider and not understanding fully. Thankfully, when I was a freshman, we had a group of seniors that were just every bit as leaders, great athletes, great soccer players, and sort of let me know what this game represented. And I was like, okay, it's a rival, and so I got my first taste of it. Our first one was away at SIUE, and it was packed. The stands were packed. The game was intense. Leading up to what I began to figure out is this was just basically a rivalry match between St. Louis players against St. Louis players.
Kind of in a way, right? That's a little weird to think about it that way.
It was crazy. So they all knew each other. They played against each other growing up. It was a high quality game, but it was also the most intense game. It was a great introduction to it. I got the background from our seniors and then got a chance to play in that first one. And it was, everything you could ever imagine it being more meaningful than just a regular game and a lot of fun to play in.
Did you win?
We did win.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I think it was close though. So then we celebrated a bit. I'd recommend if it's the same trophy, do not drink out of the shoe. Yeah. It's not fully covered in gold.
Sanitary.
Yes, definitely.
That's awesome. Well, the Bronze Boot game has been played at, different venues from college campuses to soccer park and even Busch Stadium. But this year, college players get to compete on a pro-level pitch in a soccer-specific stadium right here at City Park.
Yeah, from personal experience, the first time you walk into a soccer-specific stadium, it gives you a feel of, wow, this is what it's supposed to be like. The locker rooms are going to be first class. The field itself is going to be perfectly smooth. The grass is going to be cut at the perfect length. And I know SLU's field is of that quality, especially with the new addition behind, but you get everything else. The stadium itself has all the amenities. You have a warm-up area inside. You're going to have larger athletic trainer area. And it makes you feel this greater desire to try and get to that level. And for that moment, you are there and you get to enjoy that part of the game. And then walking onto the field, again, you're going to get the same emotion where, the lights are different. Now you got all these different LED lights that sync together. And it just gives you a taste of what the professional life is like. For college fans who haven't necessarily been to professional games, I think it also gives just this better atmosphere. They're built specifically for the noise resonating, the sight lines being perfect. It should be a really, really fun game to go to, and also for the players to get a little taste of what it is to be playing on a professional field.
And I kind of imagine that attraction of fans, the kind of fans that want to come to this game, could look a little different as well.
Definitely. I would imagine that would be the case, because you can make a day of it. You can have that sort of tailgate experience. It's also a good way to introduce people who haven't gone to a St. Louis City game. I think you get reciprocal benefits on both sides, and hopefully, we get a lot more fans of St. Louis University after this game.
St. Louis City SC has a new president and general manager, Diego Gigliani. He has said he's not only focused on growing St. Louis City soccer, but also soccer as a sport around the United States. And I'm thinking that hosting competitions like the Bronze Boot could help in a grassroots sort of way toward that effort.
Yeah, if you can build in depth rather than just linear, you're always going to have more fans to pull from. So it makes good sense. And you have students that now can both make it to the game and have an experience that is, again, a top class experience.
Well, speaking of building soccer, the Women's World Cup now in full swing, and the sport for women's soccer has continued in growth, not only here in the U.S., but around the world.
For sure. Having been the general manager of the men's team, I worked, very closely with Kate, who's the general manager for the women's. And the growth of the game is so important. And we talk about reciprocal growth from, grassroots upwards on the men's side. For the women's side, it's the same. And I think there's a real understanding of how they need to get there, knowing that, everybody knows that the U.S. women are being pushed because now the infrastructure for women all across the world is getting better and better. And that's only going to help the game. My youngest plays. She just moved to FC United's GA team. So there's an infrastructure and understanding of where you need to be and if you have goals and insights. And I think that is only going to help. It's still a little fractured with two different, main properties in ECNL and GA. But the more we can get under one sort of pyramid going forward, the better it's going to be. But at least there is this greater availability for women's soccer, girls playing as they're growing up, to just continue to get better, but also play against the best players. And it's exciting, and really, really hope the women can pull the three-peat off. It'd be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Brian McBride, U.S. soccer icon, thanks for your time, and keep being an ambassador for the beautiful game. We really appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
All right, Jennifer Cease with a terrific interview there with Brian McBride, and that is exciting that event will be coming to City Park, a great soccer tradition here in this region, and City Park is going to be the epicenter of soccer. I would not expect any concerts at City Park. Yeah, that is a beautiful pitch. That grass is spectacular. They do not want people stomping on the grass. I wouldn't anticipate anything there for the moment other than soccer or football, depending on where you come from. Not American football. That is a definite no-no. We're not going to have the 300-pounders stomping all over the field. But what a beautiful, beautiful facility it is. It really is. Can't wait to get back there for City when they take on Austin on August 20th. First place City, as a matter of fact. The Cardinals are in last place in the National League Central. They're 11.5 games out of first. Here come the Cubs now. They're 3.5 out. They've won 8 in a row. They're playing today here at Busch Stadium against the Cardinals. 1:15 start for that one. I wanted, before we talk to John Mozeliak here at 11:30, and we appreciate him joining us. Ollie Marmol joined us last hour from this restaurant, actually. He walked over, so they continue to reach out and do interviews. There has been some movement in the last 12 hours here in baseball. In case you have not heard, Max Scherzer is on the move. He is going to the Texas Rangers. The Mets sent Scherzer and $36 million to Texas in exchange for a prospect, Luis Angel Acuna. I think that's how you pronounce his first name. He is Ronald Acuna Jr.'s brother. And Scherzer is going to Texas. Now, he's reunited with Mike Maddox. Mad Dog was his pitching coach in Washington. So the two are going to try to win a world championship in Texas with Bruce Bochy. I wouldn't put it past them. It's a good Texas team. Certainly with Scherzer, they add some of that experience and toughness. The Mets also traded David Robertson to the Marlins, so clearly they're sellers. Who's next? You got to think Justin Verlander. At some point, he is $43.33 million is what he's owed next year. 43.3. He has a $35 million vesting player option for 2025. So what will Steve Cohen do there? Will they hold on to Verlander or will they deal him too? By the way, the Rangers are going to pay Scherzer. So he exercised his option for next year, 43.3 for Scherzer. So he's going to be in Texas through the end of next season. This is not a rental. He is coming to Arlington and will play the next season as well. $22.5 million of the roughly $59 million he's owed, because again, the Mets are picking up $36 million of that deal to get Scherzer over to Texas. That is really something. It's 11:26 coming up on 11:27 on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, along with us live. We're going to talk to Joe Pott, who is our network host. More Cardinal baseball following that. We'll sort of rehash what we heard from Mozeliak and get into Cardinals pregame, Cards and Cubs today at 1:15. Bob Nightingale also joined us and talked a lot of sense, I thought, at the trade deadline. Really good stuff back at 10:30 if you want to go back and listen to that. Back in a moment from Ballpark Village, Cardinals Nation on KMOX.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center.
Have you ever felt like sitting back or giving up at a family gathering because you're tired of working so hard to hear? Have you ever avoided going to an event because you know you won't be able to hear well? Then your hearing loss that you're suffering from is ruining your quality of life. We have seen it firsthand, but I promise you, if you make your hearing a priority, we will make you a priority.
Dr. Bosler, what kind of response are you getting to your new hearing aids?
People are loving these new hearing aids and telling us that they provide a smooth sound, and they're giving a noticeable reduction in that interfering background noise, which allows for them to have more clarity and understanding in those noisier settings. Make an appointment to see us today, and we can help you get your quality of life back. You have nothing to lose.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center, 636-441-7470, or learn more, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Andrea, what are you doing up there on the Best Buy flooring sign?
Scott, I'm letting contractors know that we have the best flooring.
Come down from there because they need to come in and see our huge selection of carpet, carpet tile, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, and ceramic tile in person.
Yes, we will not be undersold. Come see us at our two locations, 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Celebrate the month of the 4th with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 and get a 4th room for free. Also, 20% off whole home air duct cleaning. Call right now. Ask for the DGS deal. 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. Coming to you live from Cardinals Nation inside Ballpark Village. Tom Ackerman indeed with you, and joined by the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. Mo, we had Ollie Marmol came over and joined us in the restaurant last hour. I thought that was a nice little touch. I should have extended the invitation to you, although Ollie did it on his own. That was a nice thing for him to do.
Well, I'm a little busy right now, Tommy, so I probably would not have come over anyway. But
yes.
Nice to know in the future.
Yes, I'm very aware of that. Your phone obviously is a very busy piece of equipment right now. Can we start with this? Can you please explain what happened recently with Nolan Arenado? These persistent rumors about the Cardinals talking to the Dodgers about a trade.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into specifics of players or teams. Where rumors come from, I obviously have no idea, or nor do I control. But the reality is, we've never had any intentions of trying to move any of our key players that we have under control. So, we believe this team has a chance to still be good in the future. I think the way we're going to approach the trade deadline is trying to acquire future talent and try to position ourselves for future success. And, in terms of what our roster will look like in 2024 is still to be determined. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts, but you look at our current team, we're not happy with how this year is unfolded. Obviously, we're not playing well. We're not performing at the level we had hoped. And, this is all about positioning ourselves for future success at this point.
Certainly, and understand that, and we'll talk about that. I know that you released a written statement last night to a few. I'm not sure how many received that, but that it was pretty much laid out there. You're not going to trade him. Why did you decide to do it then, and why not earlier when those rumors were circulating like they were?
Well, because if I address every rumor every time, then I have no strategy. I have no plan. I can't control what people write or say. I can only try to do my job. And so if I react to every rumor out there, I don't think I'm using my time wisely. And number two, why I put a statement out there last year was because I was being accused of not being available. But the fact is, no one really asked me anyway. So I felt like just getting something out there might just help clear the air. And so that's why we were moving on.
I appreciate it. And thank you again for making yourself available on these Sundays. Have you spoken with Nolan about this?
Yeah, I met with him yesterday, and he understands where we are. And from that standpoint, we know it's going to be a tough couple months because there's going to be some subtractions from this club for the last couple months. But, we still hope that we can find ways to win. We still hope we're going to be an entertaining club. But most importantly, we hope we're positioning ourselves for future success.
I'm assuming you can say the same thing about Paul Goldschmidt at this point. Well, you kind of have. You said that you didn't have intent to trade him either.
That's correct.
In case of your pitchers with expiring contracts, and there was also the report that was flowing about Jordan Hicks, about contract extension discussions with him. I saw a quote that you said that's something that kind of makes me, it's uncomfortable to talk about because, well, I'm doing something right now, or something along those lines. Is there anything you can say about Jordan Hicks and that, what happened?
No, not really. I don't publicly discuss what happens behind the scenes. I know that doesn't make for great radio. I know that doesn't make for great print. But reality is there's a lot of things that happen between teams and players that we just don't publicize. And I think, it's a very slippery slope or a dangerous slope if we start getting into that. And I'm not going to go down that path. Obviously, there's players with expiring contracts right now. And as I stated earlier, we're trying to position our organization for future success. How we go about that, I think the next 72 hours will be very telling.
I understand. And those players, we know who those players are with expiring contracts. You're not going to address them by name. So but we can pretty much say who they are. How do you determine John, value for a rental player in this market, let's say? I know none of this is fun. I mean, you're on the side of this trade market for the first time in 15 plus years, but it's a different walk for you in your front office.
Yeah, first time in my career, my 30th year. I think that's the challenge is trying to understand how we get the highest return on these things. And it really takes trying to identify a team that has the desire to sort of meet our expectations. Now, look, there's still 3 days left in the trading deadline. Maybe those lines move. Our requests may change, but I think like right now we feel like we have some pieces that could help some clubs, and I think we're just going to try to leverage that as best we can.
What are you looking for? I mean, can you answer that? Are you looking for prospects who are close? Are you looking for major league ready pitchers? A combination?
I would say that I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into just saying one thing, but I mean, I think I'm stating the obvious. We need to add pitching depth. So it's not uncommon for me to be on the phone with an opposing team saying pitching. We do like our core position players. We do like the depth we have with our position players, but we know we need to strengthen our pitching.
I guess the other big question you have to answer is how did we get here? I mean, several months ago, the organization seemed content with the rotation. What changed, and what do you think has to change in evaluating your pitching situation?
Well, I think injuries affected us from day one. Lost Adam Wainwright at the end of spring training. I think Miles Michaelis going into the season wasn't as prepared as normal because he didn't have a normal spring training. So when you think about how we have to do things differently, I think we just have to make sure we have enough depth going into 2024 that we have confidence in.
And, we talk a lot about rotation, but also bullpen. What are you doing to bulk up this bullpen? Actually, let me ask it this way. Do you think that there is an over-reliance on analytics, statistical analysis, or is it worth tweaking that system to examine a different set of numbers? For example, strikeout rate versus ground ball rate, something along those lines.
Well, I think it's a fair question. I don't think there's one right answer. I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of success over the last decade or so focused on, pitching to contact. I think the league as a whole has changed more to a more swing and miss model. But, finding that right balance is something that we'll look at.
I know that I mentioned it's not fun for anyone, certainly not the fans. I'm sure you understand that. Big crowds at Busch Stadium over the weekend, hard for them to watch the Cubs go on a run right in front of them. How in tune are you with the fan base and their state of disgruntlement, let's say, and do you read what they have to say?
I don't really read it, but I'm very aware. I don't think you have to be that sophisticated to understand when you're having a losing season that people aren't happy. I don't think anybody's happy. I don't think ownership's happy. I don't think the front office is happy. I don't think our coaches are happy. I don't think our players are happy. And surely I think our fans are disappointed. But with that disappointment, there has to be some side of optimism. And, how we can leverage the next couple of days to create that, I think is very important. But I wouldn't end the statement right there. It's not period stop. What it is ... because then we have to look at how we can still improve this club this offseason, whether that's via trade or free agency. But I assure you, from the entire group I mentioned, we will be focused on trying to get back to winning.
And I will wrap with this, going back to Ollie being here, he did say, I without going into specifics, because I know these conversations are private, but he speaks with you in the front office quite often. He seemed convinced that this is 2024 is coming and you're going to see that you don't have to go through this again as an organization. Can you tell us about those conversations just in general with the field staff that you have?
Well, again, I don't think anybody is happy with where we are, and that's stating the obvious. So what we need to do is figure out a way to get back to winning. And the combination of things we did this year, if we want to point the finger at me and say it's all my fault, that's fine. But the bigger thing is the reflection of how to avoid it in the future. And so we'll take a hard look at that, which we really have. and already been through that process. And now we're just trying to make sure that we go into 2024 with the confidence that a team can compete, and we have the depth in pitching that allows us to survive a 162.
Can't tell you how much I appreciate you spending these last 10 minutes with us. I know your time is valuable right now. Thank you for answering all of the questions, and appreciate the information very much as always.
All right, you bet. Thank you.
Thank you. John Mozeliak, President of Baseball Operations, with us on KMOX. We covered a lot of ground there. Appreciate his time very much. We're coming up on 11:40. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Joe Pott and I will talk it over as we get ready for Cardinal baseball. The Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs from Busch Stadium. We're at Ballpark Village, Cardinals Nation, and we'll be back right after this.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Major League Baseball's trade deadline is Tuesday.
We know the season hasn't gone as planned.
What moves are the Cardinals hoping to make?
I definitely think we're going to treat the trading deadline as pitching.
Who'll stay? Who'll go?
We do know we have to make some changes.
Monday night at 6, it's a KMOX Sports Special, examining the trade deadline and what to expect. And Tuesday, we'll bring you all the news of what's happened. The trade deadline, sponsored by the Pitch Soccer Club and Tavern, booking holiday parties and groups, and offering a great place to watch the Cardinals, home or away.
Hello Garage elevates your garage. Our pricing is always fair and reasonable. Plus, we offer discounts for public service, first responders, and military. In as little as 48 hours, get that extra entertaining space and get organized. Visit us online at hellogarage.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we want to make something very clear. We will absolutely beat the price of any comparable diamond that you find anywhere else. No fine print, no disclaimers, just a rock-solid, unqualified nationwide price guarantee. And this goes for 1-carat diamonds as well as 15 and 20-carat diamonds. You see, at Diamonds Direct, we're more than just another jewelry store. We're part of a world diamond powerhouse with direct access to the world's top diamond mines. We have our own diamond cutters too, so we are active in every aspect of the diamond market every single day, from source to showroom. So when you see a diamond somewhere else, online or in a store, or from some so-called supplier, just know that apples for apples, you will get a better price at Diamonds Direct. Our volume, our connections, our buying power make this possible, and it's why we've never ever lost a sale due to price. So at a time when value means so much, we invite you to take this challenge and let us prove it. Day in and day out, you will always get a better quality diamond at a better price at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
Can you imagine being a superhero?
With a sidekick?
Can you imagine you can fly?
Your sidekick shows up wherever you are.
In a fancy blue truck.
And whatever you point at disappears.
1-800-GOT-JUNK is your sidekick.
We're twitching in anticipation.
Vibrating with energy.
We haul away whatever you point at.
Any home or apartment.
Workplace or job site.
We're industrial strength sidekicks.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, so why don't we do something about it? With Neovitin Men's 50 Plus, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Formulated for men over 50, Neovitin Men's 50 Plus gives you B vitamins to support energy and our proprietary physician-formulated blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Do something about your health today with Neovitin Men's 50 Plus. Available at your local Schnucks and Dierbergs.
Hey, Debbie Monterey here. Before you sell your home, you should know what it's worth in today's market. Call Gloria Liu. She'll tell you. With 20 plus years of experience, Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty has been successfully selling homes in your area for more money than the average agent. Power of how and when your home is sold. A few of Gloria's options include bringing multiple cash offers from her substantial pool of investors, a zero commission program, and don't forget Gloria's guaranteed sale program. How can Gloria guarantee the sale of your home? Because Gloria's database of buyers is huge, and she is so confident that she can sell your home that she can put her own money where her mouth is. So just call Gloria today, your local St. Louis real estate expert, at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Cherry Kelly, man, CherryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, CherryKelly.com. 'Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until 8. They're certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Be the next legendary winner at Horseshoe St. Louis Casino. Enjoy thrilling action and bold bets from classic slot play and state-of-the-art video machines to all your favorite table games and high-limit action. Set along the Mississippi River in the heart of downtown, just a quick walk from the ballpark. Horseshoe St. Louis Casino, a Caesars Rewards destination. Legendary. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-BETS-OFF.
If you're looking for a reliable and trusted electrical service provider, look no further than Reinhold Electric, your go-to experts for all your electrical needs. Whether you need residential or commercial electrical services, Reinhold Electric has you covered. With decades of experience and a team of highly skilled electricians, we deliver top-notch solutions tailored to your specific requirements. No job is too big or too small for our experienced team. Call 314-631-1158 online at ReinholdElectric.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. A very healthy conversation, I would say, with John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations. Things are tough right now in the Cardinals organization. He is extremely busy trying to make it right, and I appreciate him taking the time and answering our questions here on KMOX. He always makes time for us as well. He's the sporting director for St. Louis City SC. Lutz Pfannenstiel is with us. Lutz, we're here at Ballpark Village in front of a big crowd of Cardinals fans. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. I'm actually in Las Vegas today to do some commentary on Borussia Dortmund against Manchester United this afternoon for ESPN before I'm heading back later on today to St. Louis.
Oh, that's good. You're great at that. Do you enjoy that, commentating and doing those kinds of things?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a mix for me. I use it a lot to scout, to see how things are done differently or how things are done. Bit of a benchmark in other countries or in the Bundesliga, in the Premier League, in a scouting way. But also, it sounds funny, but it really relaxes me of the normal day work to just actually watch a football game and tell what I see and try to analyze what I see. So it's pretty good.
It's good. I know I don't want to keep you too long because I know it's a busy time, and we have our pregame here coming up in just a little bit. But I wanted to ask you your impression of the Leagues Cup, most recently with Club America. That's a great club that you took on. What did you observe coming out of that?
There is these games where you realize pretty quickly that you play against an opponent who is better than you that night. I think that was something very obvious, but it's something which not you played against the team which is, for me at the moment, the top team or one of the top three teams in the CONCACAF region. We played against a team who is around since many, many years. To be a top team is a massive tradition. These players playing together, most of them for 3 years, with very good additions in the last 2 years. And most important, they basically played in MLS language with 11 DPs. So it's not just the expectations, I think, need to be that we need to go back to reality, not just us as players or as staff, but also the fans. It's not that Club America turns up in St. Louis and we going out there and just play them off the field. I mean, that is not going to happen very quickly. We need a great day. We need to catch them on a bad day, then we have a chance. Apart from that, we are simply not there yet, and we simply cannot be there yet because we started 7 months ago. And I think people start to forget that if you're winning a few games in the MLS, that things are just going on, and we get better from day to day, and we can beat any team in the world. No, that's not the case. We need to know where we came from. We need to know what we're doing, and we need to know where we stand, and we need to know our goals. And that's a very, very clear way how we see it internally. And then I would say, sometimes I'm surprised that expectations are going so far away from reality that people think Club America gets eaten alive in St. Louis. Well, I wish, to be honest. And it was a check for us. We saw where we still lack the quality, where we need to get better. that will not be fixed in a week or not be fixed in 6 months. That takes some time, and we need to grow. And it was great, actually, to see how good the team of Club America was and where we have areas to improve. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. Absolutely. Lutz Pfannenstiel is with us from Las Vegas. We spent a little more time with him before we go. Looking forward now, what comes next for City? What is the plan as we get closer to August 20th?
Yeah, the Leagues Cup was a tough competition for us because with Club America and Columbus, I think we got the most difficult group. And obviously, we tried it hard to go through, and it didn't work. So in the end of the day, I think the players need now a bit of a rest. They got a few days off, and then it goes back again to work on the details. The great news is that Joachim Nielsen played yesterday the first 45 competitive minutes in the second team in City 2 when they beat LAFC 4-2. And he scored a goal. He did well. It was a very nice way to see him back on the field. Klaus is starting this full training again this week. So in the end of the day, we have everybody around now from the starting lineup and from the day we started off. Plus we have Torresen coming in pretty soon as well. So I think the competition within the players, within the squad is getting heated up again, which is great. And then we're working hard to be ready for August 20 and try to pick up as many points in the last 11 league matches.
Lutz, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for all of this, and good luck today with the call. Have a great call, and we'll see you when you get back in town and get you ready for that match against Austin.
Great. Thank you so much.
Great to catch up with Lutz Pfannenstiel. Never fails to join us here on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX, as well as John Mozeliak, who was just with us before that. We heard from Bob Nightingale, and we heard from Ollie Marmol, and now we hear from Joe Pott, our network host for Cardinals pregame, who will be with us on the way at 12:20, although I think you're going to do a little bit before that out of the noon news, won't you?
Probably so. A little batting practice, I like to call it.
Well, we just talked to John Mozeliak for a while. I believe in my mind, all the questions that I really wanted to get to him were asked. I asked them pretty straightforward, and we covered a lot of ground. Let me just kind of recap a couple of things. One, I asked him about Nolan Arenado and that whole situation, and he said, I can't comment on players and teams, but I will say that when it comes to this specifically, he basically said, we've never had an intention of trading our cornerstone controllable players, basically. He also went on to talk a little bit more about Arenado himself. I asked, why didn't you shut this down earlier? Why did you decide to shut it down when you did? And he said, last night, I was being accused of not talking. He goes, quite honestly, nobody asked me. But so I decided to put the statement out there. He said, I can't control where rumors come from, et cetera, et cetera. Then I asked him about Paul Goldschmidt. What about them? I'm assuming that it's the same situation here. He said it is. Paul Goldschmidt basically telling us that he's not going to be traded either. It's an interesting situation here, Joe. I think that the Cardinals are right now, and I thought that Mo was not defensive. He just seems kind of annoyed by the whole thing, although he did take 10 minutes out of his time in what certainly is a blitz of phone calls for him to answer our questions. Let's start with Arenado and your impression of all of that. I was under the assumption for weeks, no chance, not getting traded. In fact, I said it on the air over and over and over again. I think that when somebody in LA reports that Arenado is being coveted by the Dodgers, it's like, well, yeah, he's coveted by everybody. But when the Cardinals pick up the phone, which I'm assuming happened here, and took the call, as Bob Nightingale told us, that becomes quote unquote talks.
Yeah, no, I think that you're exactly right. And I would say this, that any accusation towards John Mozeliak is clearly unfair because he has no obligation to be talking about any of this, right? And as you and I know, he talks to us every Sunday. Both of us have had him on this program a lot. I had the program immediately following the whole thing with Wilson Contreras, where is he going to catch? Is he going to play a corner outfield spot? I asked him directly. He answered me directly on those things at that time. So, yeah, he has no obligation to just go out there and start speaking things, right? So if he hadn't been asked, then there's no reason that he had to address it. So the fact that he does come on today to address these things, yes. I also felt like you did with Nolan Arenado. That's not the piece that you would expect this team to be trading, because you don't expect this to be some sort of tear down and completely rebuild from the bottom. We've always thought that that was the case, that it was not going to be some sort of complete tear down here, that it was going to be retooling, obviously. And when a team is 14 games under 500, you expect that to happen. But a 28-year-old third baseman who is under your control, who is going to someday walk into Cooperstown, is not going to be the guy you're going to ship out of town.
The Cardinals also, with Mozeliak in charge right now, are looking for pitching. He would not talk specifically about Hicks, Montgomery, Flaherty, Stratton, these players who are under contract. He's not going to do that. And I didn't bring up Helsley either, but we all know who the names are of the players right now that would be in that group that you could shop. Helsley is under contract for next year, but I think a lot of teams are interested. I asked him about major league ready pitchers or prospects who are close. Are you looking for prospects who are close, a combination with major league ready pitchers? He said, we're not going to pigeonhole ourselves, but we are looking for pitching. we're basically, he's asking everybody for pitching, and it's become pretty obvious there. I did ask him about how did we get here, and is it fair to reevaluate analytics, not to go, but is it worth tweaking that system to say, let's look at a different set of numbers, strikeout rate over ground ball rate, that kind of thing. He said that is a fair question, and I think that they are looking actually at a combination. So they are not going to sway all the way over to punch out pitchers, but they do want more of them. And I think that, without saying it, he basically is telling us that the shift has changed things a little bit. The inability to shift has made the ground ball a little more of a problem for even an elite defense
100%.
like the Cardinals.
I think that is obvious. And, I think, like you said, if you can increase the strikeouts that come from that pitching staff, and I also like the fact he said they weren't going to be pigeonholed, because to be honest, it's going to rely a lot on what can you get back for whoever you're dealing, correct? I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate the time very much with John Mozeliak. In our final, and this isn't nearly enough time, but we have about 30 seconds left. Alan Stout has passed away, and he was a wonderful producer for Bally pregame and post.
Not a question about it. A guy that I met about 15 years ago. He was in my ear as my producer when I was doing SIUE games. He was a student at SIUE. That's how long ago I met him. I was on air on what was then Fox Sports Midwest when he produced his first SIUE Cougar game on Fox Sports Midwest. I have known him for so long, and it is a huge hole, and we're going to miss him terribly.
I think it's well said, and I'm very sorry about that loss to the entire Bally family. You'll have pregame coming up at 12:20, some clips of the Mozeliak interview. This is KMOX.
The Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money, at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
The Major League Baseball trade deadline is Tuesday, and the Cardinals look to be very active. Hi, I'm Matt Pauley. KMOX Sports will have hourly updates at 45 past the hour throughout the day, plus breaking news whenever a move is made. Cardinals Radio is KMOX.
Hi, I'm Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Did you know one of the most important keys to success on the track and for safe driving on the road is having the right pressure in your tires? Properly inflated tires are essential to help you get the best gas mileage and keep you driving safely. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by your local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird specials at $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also stop smoking with Mark Patrick. No matter how many times you try to quit, this hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars Saturday, August